Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, guys. Welcome to session 4 of our Secrets of Successful Muslim Wives. I want to say a huge thank you to our coaches, Nyla and Fatimah from Outstanding Personal Relationships. You guys met them in virtual salon yesterday. They are co-wives, they are mothers, they are daughters, they are teachers, they are coaches, and inshallah they are here to talk to us today about effective communication. So before we get started, guys, remember that you can please do comment throughout the session. Those of you in the VIP room, the coaches can see your comments in the chat. They can see your questions directly in the chat. If we have time, we will open up Q&A for everybody else who is in Facebook. But I just want to thank you, Nyla and Fatimah, for being here. I want to thank our lovely patrons who are supporting us every month to keep doing this, and everybody who bought a ticket to this event. May Allah bless you and make it weigh heavily in your scales. Ameen. So with that being said, ladies, Bismillah, take it away.
Bismillah.
I'm going to make you hosts now, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Just for clarification. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm Fatimah, Coach Fatimah.
I'm Nyla, and I'm actually setting my timer right now. I want to make sure I kind of stay on point. So give us a second. I want to stay on point. So, here we go.
Takeover happens in
3, 2, 1. Bam. Okay. So, Nyla, Coach Nyla, of course.
Fatimah, Coach Fatimah.
Co-wives, co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships and Outstanding Personal Relationships. So, yeah, and we are marriage coaches, relationship coaches, yes, and polygyny. Of course, we are not anti-monogamy. We also assist in that too. We're just pro-morals.
Right.
So yes, and I'm going to share a screen because we do have a presentation, and our presentation is "Can We Talk? Secrets to Effective Communication." And how to communicate. There we are. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah. So yes, effective communication for outstanding relationships in monogamy and polygyny. And I am going to get us on presentation mode, on slideshow mode. Okay, here we go. So yes. We're, of course, going to get into a little bit about ourselves for the most part, because we are not, we're not hard to think that everybody know who we are.
Right.
We are not famous. So, we know that. So, yes, of course, as we stated before, co-wives, co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships with our husband, Coach Nyla. So, yeah, it's not just us. So, when you guys happen to go to Outstanding Personal Relationships, that guy that's on the page, that guy, that's our husband. So yes, and Coach Fatimah, she's going to tell you a little bit more about herself.
Well, we kind of make a difference between who we are because we get confused a lot and we get switched up a lot. So I'm Coach Fatimah. I've been married to Coach Nyla for 24 years, 25, girl.
25, I meant to put 25.
Some said no, queen.
You know what's so crazy? And I know it's 25 because I sent them a 25-year anniversary thing. It was a messed up on the keyboard. I'm just blaming
But you know my brain, I'm glad she worked today. Okay, I digress. We've been married 25 years, 7 children. I have 2 incredible bonus babies. Our children range from 25, soon to be 25 next month, all the way down to 8 years old. And then I have 5 bonus babies that I just love so much, like they're my own. I've worked in this industry for many years, along with my co-wife. Before I had a co-wife, I was coaching women through organization and interior design and art. So I let my co-wife introduce herself.
Hey.
I want to keep it cute.
I'm like, oh, listen, I'm like, hey. Yes, no, Coach Nyla, say that a lot, most likely. And it's crazy, because let me just real quick, why I actually say Nyla, Coach Nyla, because people are like, why do you do that? Okay, so it's, yeah, like you don't know, you don't know what to say. No, I actually got something off of, it's a group that I used to listen to.
Which one? You gonna age us? Because if you are, I'm leaving.
And Andre 3000, he
Yeah.
said, my name is Andre Benjamin, Andre to be exact. So that in my mind always, it stuck with me. So I'm like, I'm Nyla, Coach Nyla to be exact. Because just like my co-wife, I've coached, my gosh, forever. I've been coaching forever. And I coached before we got into OPR, outstanding personal relationships. I was coaching women on health and wellness, self-esteem, natural beauty, all of that other good stuff. Still do that, but kind of migrated it or marriaged it or, put it together, merged it into outstanding personal relationships. So yeah, so you see a lot of the personal development still in the coaching that we do, in addition to the relationship coaching. So married 10 years, to Coach Not There. I was married before then, like Coach Fatimah said, my co-wife said, I was married before, that, we were in monogamy before. I was in monogamy before I entered into polygyny. So I'm married, divorcee, and married in polygyny, or divorcee, whatever all that stuff. I don't know how you say divorcee. I don't know which word it is, but that's what I was. And I have 5 children, biological children, and 7 bonus babies that I am totally in awe with and in love with. So yes, and these are different things that we've done. Some of the things that we've done, and the many things that you guys will check out and can see on the website. Wow. When was that? We just did the Muslima Influencer Summit. That was like earlier, a couple months ago, a few months ago. Indeed, we did the Muslima Influencer Summit. Incredible summit. Now the people liked it so much, we created it and turned it into an online course. We just finished up our True Queens online course. So that's a course just for, our women, the true queens that we are. And we have our podcast, Candid Co-Wife Conversations, where we talk about all things through the eyes of co-wives. And of course, we have our hundreds of hours of YouTube videos and all that other good stuff. So yeah, you can definitely find us and check us out. So those are the things. Just a little snippet about us. So what we'll cover today in this training, I'm not trying to take up too much time, but we will cover what does effective communication look like. The peace model for effective communication. Those who are on the call last night at the salon last night, they know that we kind of hinted at peace, having peace in your relationship. Exactly. So we created a peace model for effective communication, and using effective communication as a tool for connecting and bonding with your spouse.
Yeah, and using effective communication, because we communicate, but is it effective or ineffective? So using effective communication as a tool for connecting and bonding with your co-wife, and polygyny.
We wouldn't be proper co-wives, I would think, that if we didn't talk about polygyny and how to bond, because we do get a lot of questions, and we did see that there are a number of people who are watching the videos, who are at the salon, who are in the salon, who stated that they are actually in polygyny. So that was actually a cool thing to see, because it's not, something that's so foreign that, it's not something that we shouldn't talk about. A lot of those things get swept under the rug, or people are not speaking about it as much, because they think that there's no place for it.
Or it's taboo, or they just think it's a negative taboo thing. So we'll get into that. So we're ready. We're about to get into it, guys. What does effective communication look like? I didn't know what that looked like, because I got married when I was 20. So I was just like, we talk, so that means we communicate. But it wasn't an effective communication where there's a balance. So effective communication A good marriage thrives through healthy communication. And that means to have the willingness to communicate and be open to exchange your beliefs, thoughts, and your concerns and your desires. I think oftentimes we want to sweep our desires under the rug, whether we desire to, let's say your husband does desire to be in a polygynous marriage, and is he able to say it? Maybe you desire for him not to be in a polygynous marriage. Are you able to say it, to have that comfortability to speak your concerns?
Right.
I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, like I said, like, is it just making the other person happy? We're going to talk about effective listening. We're going to talk about those type of things too, because I'm like, sometimes, like you said, well, okay, well, hey, we're talking, we're communicating, so, and a lot of times it gets to the point where it's like, okay, this is my side, this is my side, and then
that stubbornness.
It's the stubbornness. And my thing before, like, I didn't know how to communicate effectively. I had to learn this thing because my thing is I wanted people to see my view.
Right.
I can understand your view.
Part.
I see your view. I get that. However, I feel some type of way if I feel that you don't feel my view or that you're not getting my view.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, and you may communicate different. You may get what I'm saying, but you may not express it the way I want you to express it. So since you didn't express it the way I want you to express it, I got to force my way on you. That never worked, ever. Ever. I was that type of person that was like, you don't care, I'm gonna make you care. You can't do that to people. You can't make them care. They're gonna care, and they're gonna do it in their own way. Exactly. Of course, we talk about that too. Yeah. People are going to communicate in their own way, shape, and form, and we have to realize how to adapt and adopt those different communication styles because there are different styles of communicating.
Right.
So yes, this is our peace model to effective communication. So yes, we have the P, the E, the A, C, E, and of course the communication bubble, but the peace sign, because I think people want drama-free.
I would hope so.
They want drama-free marriages. They want drama-free relationships. Right. And in order to have that drama-free, you have to have peace.
Yeah.
So that's why we decided to come up with that model, because we're like, okay, what is the common denominator? What is the common thing that people want? Because people say happiness, and happiness can be relative. There's a lot of things that can be relative. But when it all comes down to it, the word that people really hone in on is like, I want to be at peace.
Right. But then the thing is, it's like you want that and you should want it, but it's how to practice it that becomes an issue. Exactly. We don't know how to sometimes practice being peaceful. You just go, I want to be peaceful, but then you don't have, these best practices. We're going to definitely get into that because that's what I did. I didn't, I want to be peaceful. And then you're going, what do I do with it? The idea of peace.
Exactly.
So,
if I would to move, because apparently there we go. Because it wasn't moving. All right. So what does the peace model stand for? What does those letters stand for? That's the P.
Yeah.
Participating with purpose.
The E for effective listening.
A, argument free. Well, the first A, argument free.
The second A, and this is a big one, guys, alleviating drama.
C, consistently connect.
And E, establish trust.
Exactly. So what does that mean? Okay, it sounds all good, coaches. What does that mean? Participating with purpose. How do you participate with purpose? What does that mean?
Yeah. It's knowing what you want to get out of a conversation that you want to have to move through whatever issues you're having. Having that willingness to have a hard conversation face to face. I think oftentimes we get caught up in social media and texting and emails. We start to lose our ability to communicate face to face. I was actually listening to a podcast and these guys were talking about, like in the 90s, 80s, 90s, anything before social media technology. They were saying you had to get the courage up to go across the room and talk to a girl you liked or a boy that you liked. And you had to communicate. We've lost our ability to do so because we're so invested in these electronics and these phones and these watches that the conversations that are hard are starting to happen on social media or through technology. Also, one big thing is offering your undivided attention to the person that you're trying to participate in your relationship with. If we're talking and you have your phone in your hand, and I'll say it again for the people that didn't hear me, you have your phone in your hand, you're not able to listen effectively to what the other person is saying. You're distracted, and that's an issue because you're not present. So, and another big one is no silent treatment. We're all adults, and I know it's super easy to give the silent treatment and the stonewall and not talk. I've mastered this art over my 45 years on this earth. Not talking, but in not speaking, you can't fix the issue if you're not speaking. Mine is usually survival tactics so that I don't say something to you that you nor I can come back from. So I'd rather not talk to get my thoughts together and not just speak out of my mouth, just brrr, you know?
Exactly. I like that.
You'll backtrack.
Backtrack a little bit, because especially that no silent treatment. I love that because, and I like the way you stated that it's a defense mechanism or a mechanism to say, you know, let me get my thoughts together. Now that's totally different than using it as a tool of, you know, a weapon, using it as a weapon. It's totally different. And when you say, you know what, I need some time, I need to process this, it's totally different than saying, you know, being the passive aggressive person to say, you know what, well, they know, or I'm mad, you know, and you keep looking to see if they, you know, care that you're mad at them or that you're not talking to them or anything like that, and realize that they're just going to keep on living their life. Probably happy that you're quiet right now. It's a lot of different things. So you want to be careful with using certain things as weapons. I love the offer your undivided attention part, because that's another thing that I do. I even do that with my children. If I'm doing certain things and they want to talk to me and they want to say certain things, I'm like, hold up. And I would actually say, hold up, I'm not listening to you. Like, seriously, those are the words that will come out of my mouth because I know I'm doing something else. And I was like, I'm not listening to you, but I want to listen to you. So give me a second while I finish this. Or if I find myself that I happen to pick up my phone or I'm doing something when someone's talking to me, I try to make a conscious effort to say, you know what? I don't want that done to me. I know how that feels.
Yeah, you're good at that.
And am I paying attention?
Indeed. Yes.
I think that's that part. I think when we turn, like that participating with the purpose, if your purpose is to say, you know what? I want to listen. I want to learn. I want to, if it's an issue, I want us to fix it. I want us to communicate, whatever the case may be, have that state of mind through the whole thing, and just be intentional and conscious of what you are doing during that communication process.
I like that. Wow, girl. That was great.
So the E, effective listening, and we kind of segued into that with the, you know, kind of like limiting distractions type of thing when you are discussing and talking to people. I'm sorry. Okay. So a little of the chat things pop up. So
yeah, we're checking stuff, guys.
So yeah.
Sorry, Assalamu alaikum sisters. There are some comments from the VIP suite.
Okay.
Silent treatment specifically. Do you mind just having a look and seeing if there's maybe anything that you can pick up from there?
Yeah, let me, because that's what I saw something that said.
You caught it.
I saw the chat. So I want to try to. No, it definitely popped up, and I'm trying to see where it is actually though on our screen. Let me see, maybe more.
Salwa said that silent treatment can be part of emotional abuse.
Oh yes. Yeah, we totally agree with that. That's that part where we said using the thing as a weapon.
Yeah.
And it's not just women. Women are not the only ones that do that.
That's a two-way street.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. I've seen men do it on a number of occasions where, you know, instead of, you want to ask them questions or say, hey, I want to know how you feeling, or you said something that possibly triggered them.
Yeah.
And then they're quiet, and then you're like, okay, wow, what the heck did I just do? And now you're constantly thinking in your mind of what I did, and now it's affecting your day to day, and it's affecting your life. So yeah, of course.
It's like an emotional punishment that
Right.
some sisters experience. They're maybe not as direct to say, what's going on? Why are you being quiet? Maybe they don't want to, or nor do they feel safe or comfortable in doing so. So as adults, we need to be able to explain or articulate ourselves in such a way that when we're upset, we need to say why, because we're not mind readers.
Right.
You know, we might not understand how something is hitting you emotionally, the person that's being quiet. And we shouldn't have to go through this guessing game of what's going on in your head as adults.
Right.
You know, that as married people, we have to understand that there's a certain, especially as Muslims, there's a specific way, and we're supposed to live with each other in kindness anyway. So when we reflect on those things, we get better at not sitting around and not talking and, you know, stuff like that. It kind of, I get a little irritated with some of the treatment that happens with us Muslim to Muslim. It just burns me out.
Burns your biscuits.
It burns my biscuits. And some more stuff.
And I mean, and that's,
I'd just like to get your, inshallah, your viewpoint on, because somebody said, you know, silence could also be a way of easing the situation as well. I'm not wanting to go there, if you know what I mean.
It can.
Silence is golden and silence is a punishment, or it's a silent treatment as a punishment.
Right. And that's pretty much knowing
earlier.
Exactly. And that's the part of knowing what it is and being like what my co-wife said, being strong enough and being direct enough to say, and you can always do it, and we're going to talk about that too, doing with respect, being able to speak with respect, saying what's on your mind, saying what you mean, saying what you want to say, but being respectful about it. So yeah, truly understand that, yes, it could be that way of easing the situation. Just like my co-wife said, she said, sometimes that's the thing for her to process.
Yeah,
I'm be quiet because I got to process it. And me, there's times when I would say, you know what? They're like, what's wrong? Because you can see it in my face. I'm a type of person, I wear my emotions, I wear whatever I'm going through kind of like on my face, so you kind of know if I'm going through some stuff. And I'll get the question, what's wrong? And I used to say nothing. And this is that part being, you know, being honest and being transparent and being direct. And when you say nothing and something is actually wrong with you, you are lying. No matter how you want to slice it or whatever, how cute you want to make it, you are lying because it is something wrong with you. I learned to stop doing that and say, you know what, nothing I want to talk about right now. Let me process it. If I feel that it's a need to discuss it. I know it sounds like way more words, but like I stated last night, work, you need to do the work. The only time success will come before work is in the dictionary. So you want to make sure that so what, it may take a little bit longer to get around to the issue or the solution or anything like that. But if you are willing to work at it and to be honest about it, it will happen. And it's one of the things that Fawn Weaver, one of the, and I want to say argument-free marriage, she talked about as being able to just state these different things, being able to say certain things, but also being able to take some time out for yourself. You know, be able to process stuff and to say, you know, and she made a comment about that if we plan to be married, we didn't plan to be married for this short period of time and then that's it. We plan to be married for life. So, you know, this long-term goal. So if we plan on being married that long, then we have time. You know, yes, you know, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, we're not promised tomorrow and all this other stuff, but you got to understand that we have time to work on each other. We have time to work together. We have time to fix the situation if we're willing to work on it. But it's not fixing it right away, it's working on it right away. That's the part. People want
it's a
this
process.
Insta fix thing instead of saying, you know what? We know that we are constantly growing together. That's our goal, because we talked about the marriage mission statement, all this other stuff. Now, if we're having some type of issue, we're going to work through this issue no matter how long it takes, but we're not going to force it. We're not going to argue about it. We're not going, if you're not receptive, I'm not receptive, then we're not going to work on it today. That type of thing. And that's a question I ask. I'm like, are you receptive for this communication? Are you receptive for this conversation? And I can tell if the person is receptive or not. Whether they say yes or no, I can tell. And I'm like, if you say yes, and I know, maybe we can stick a pin in it and come back.
Right. I agree. That's
that part. So yeah, and the effective listening part. Thank you guys so much. Great comments, great questions. I definitely listening to understand. And we talked about that earlier. Yeah. You're not just listening to a person so they can shut up and then you say what you want to say. You're like, okay, I wish they just hurry up and shut up. Yep. And then you just start talking. You want to listen to understand what the other person is coming from. You may not agree. Understanding don't mean that you agree with what they're saying. It's that you see their point of view, however different it may be. You don't have to agree, but you can understand, like, okay, you know what? I can see how you possibly have gotten that. Right. Whatever, but this is what I meant, or this is what I said.
You can validate.
Exactly.
But you don't have to agree with everything that's said to you. We're all different and we're experiencing life in different ways. So we're experiencing our lives differently. People go, but you're co-wives. Yes, but we're our own individual people.
Yes.
Though. And our husband is his own person. So I can't compare my chapter 20 as a mother to his chapter 20 as a father. Right. With our children, because they fulfill me in different ways than they fulfill him, and vice versa. Exactly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I might not understand his life as a husband and a father and the busyness of that role. Oh yeah. But, and he doesn't understand ours, but he doesn't have to. It's just going, okay, I know you're busy as a mom. I know you're busy as a father, but can you listen to kind of what I'm going through, and I go, yeah, I can listen and I can get what you're saying. Like, I love that. I get what you're saying, but I don't necessarily have to agree. My experience is different. So
when you said that, made me think of the training, the family meetings. Yeah. So we do weekly family meetings, and he has his own way of how he trains. Yeah.
Train like a mom.
We have our way of how we train. Like when we get up there and we do family training and family meetings and different things like that, we have a different way of doing it. And he's an
INTJ.
Yeah. So I'm I'm gonna throw you into the thing and have you figure it out, and I'll possibly help you along the way. But I want you to really figure it out on your own. We are kind of like the guiding ones, and so we'll explain it a little bit more than he does. And before, it used to be so cringy for me. Yeah. And I'm going to just be really, and I told him that. I said, because I'm like, I just want to go in and just save them and just tell them the answer or do these other things.
Throw them a life preserver.
And then I thought about it, is that the cool thing about it was this balance that we all have. We all have our different styles of how we parent, how we train. And it's the awesome thing about it is that seeing these differences come together and create well-rounded individuals and well-rounded children. So when I got to that point of seeing it in that type of way, keeping that open mind and saying, you know what, I get it. I may not do it exactly that way, but it's effective. Yeah. It's effective in the way that he does it. And then we are the ones that do the other pieces that's just as effective.
That nurturing
part. Yeah. So sometimes I think a lot of times, like we stated last night, people are so used to their way that they want people to do it their way. But I'm like, are you just that doggone self-centered that it only got to be your way, and your way is the only way that it can possibly be, or your mental about it, or your mentality about it is the only idea that makes sense? So that part, so you want to make sure that you're listening to understand, you're keeping an open mind. I love my co-wife talks about maintaining eye contact.
It depends on who you're talking to, but I know when I'm speaking or coaching, when we speak or coach, face-to-face or one-on-one, and we have to do effective listening, or when we're talking to our spouse or our children even, and we have some smaller children, we get down to their level, talk to them because they're smaller, or you want to engage with your eyes so that we can just really hit things head on in their sincerity, in the windows of our soul, which are our eyes. So I love to work on my eye contact, and I'm pretty good at it. But at the same time, after having so many children and you're being married so long, you become pretty good and skilled at looking people right in the eye. Also, this one is a little bit different. Placing yourself in the shoes of others. The friendship that you should have with your spouse versus just the spousal role. So for example, I remember our husband in particular, and I think a lot of brothers go through this where they want their children all to kind of be together, see each other often and things like that. So there was a discussion that was brought up for my biological youngest son to go see his brothers, my bonus babies. And our husband brought it up to me, said, I think he should go visit and go play over there, and it's a change of scenery. I couldn't be in that spousal role. I had to turn it to that friendship role and go, okay, I have to look at it from that side and go, if this was me and I wanted to bring my children together that are all biologically mine, I'd want somebody to listen to that. I'd want somebody to hear me. I need a friend to step into the room and not, this jealous energy or this judgment and I'm not saying that wives would judge that situation, but they have. We've worked with some that go, I don't want my kids over there. I said, but you got to look at it from the kid's perspective and from your husband's perspective as a friend. Now there might be danger. I'm not saying all things are that easy or that black and white. It certainly wasn't for us. But what was easy for me is to understand that I have to hear him as not just a wife, but as a friend and go, this is healthy for the children involved, and this is the right thing to do for them. And their father should be able to say that to either one of us. And he speaks from a place of privilege because we're all very invested in the mental health of the children in this family. Mental health, physical, spiritual, emotional health. So we all go, okay, this is what's best for our babies. Let's do it, But you got to sometimes show up as a friend and not just that role as wife or husband,
Exactly. I love it.
Right along. Alhamdulillah, inshallah. Everything is not that black and white, but we're doing our work. And I like that you said that. We're all doing our work.
And guys, we're going to...
Before you move on, sorry, just jumping in there.
Okay.
Before you move on, there is a question that's been asked that a couple of people have said, yeah, I really need the answer to that question.
Okay.
How do you deal with husbands that don't open up? This came up earlier on today. How do you deal with husbands that don't open up, where that open communication is one-sided, so the wife gives up and stops talking? What's to be done in that situation?
There are a number of ways when we talk about it. You got to know the communication style. Sometimes, see, the thing is that sometimes we think that communicating is like we're doing a lot of talking, or, it's like, okay, I'm asking them these questions and things like that. Sometimes you got to find out what your spouse's communication style is. Maybe it is hard for them to be vulnerable enough to tell you face to face or, through verbal communication that, that they're feeling some type of way. One of the things is being encouraging, to be able to encourage them to do that, whether it's writing a note, whether it's saying, you know what, I noticed this, and I really want to assist. So what should I do? Right. Or, so it's kind of those things where it kind of takes it off, takes the pressure off. Yes. And this is an interesting thing because I know sometimes we'll get these things like, well, if he don't do it to me and he don't, no, see, this is not, we're going to talk about, right. We really have to take personal responsibility in how we want our relationships to look. And if it takes that one of the sisters talked about it yesterday too, about the sacrifice or the compromise and these different things to say, you know what, I really want to know him. I
Right,
really
get to know
want to
him,
get
yeah.
to know him. I really want to know his ins and outs. I want us to connect.
Mhm.
So how do I do that? What do I do as a spouse? What do I do? So is there things that I could do better?
Right.
And that's that part where it's not that you're beating yourself up. It's like, when I look at certain things, I'm like, how could I have done this better? I had
INFJ.
wrote a post a while back called Unapologetically Apologetic. And it came from because someone asked the question, like, do people apologize anymore? Like, what's up with that? Is that like a lost art? And I realized that I used to apologize so much, and I still do, and I'm like, first it used to get to me and I'm like, I'm so tired of apologizing. I'm sick of apologizing. Why I gotta be the one to apologize? Then I thought about why I apologize as much as I do anyway. And I said, because I want to take responsibility for my role and what could have possibly happened. Even though I could have been intentional, my intentions could have been totally awesome and totally great. You cannot control what a person gets from what you say or do or anything like that. But my thing is like, could I have possibly done it a different way? Could I possibly have listened a little more? Could I possibly have encouraged them a little more? So the thing is, how do you get your husband to open up? For one, be patient. Realize that they are individual just like you are, that you're human, that they have these different needs and these different desires and these different vulnerabilities and probably insecurities as well. And that it comes to a point that, are you that person that they feel that they can open up to? Are you seriously, take a look in the mirror, your internal mirror or whatever, to say, you know what, am I creating, like, we want our spouse to create a environment where we feel safe to talk to them? Are we creating that environment that they can feel safe to talk to us? Or we're saying that, well, you're the man, you know how to deal with this, or you deal with things. I used to feel that men didn't have feelings like that. Like, I really seriously did growing up. I'm like, they hurt people. They're heartless. They can keep on moving. They don't cry, a lot of stuff because of how men were brought up. Boys are brought up. A lot of boys are brought up, you can't cry, don't show your emotions, don't do these different things, instead of how to properly do it. Not don't do it, but how to show these emotions, how to be vulnerable. So being able to be understanding enough to say, you know what, this is where he is, and my husband may be broken, just a little bit, and not like broken to the point where he can't be, we can't get out of this, but it could be some things that are triggers to him. There are things that maybe he don't feel comfortable with talking to me about, but it's like, okay, how can I be that comfort to him? How can I be that person and give him that space and give him that time, but also continue to encourage like you would do a child, not to put him in the same category,
right?
But the thing is that we are, whether children, wives, husbands, and we have basic human needs and we have basic emotions. And it doesn't matter if you're, 2 or 22 or 202, you're still going to have these different things that are just basic human emotions that were ingrained in us.
And I also think, just quickly, so we can move on and respect the time, we just want to really go into that, because it's not just a really simple answer to that question.
Right.
Also, let him know that he can talk to you and that you won't judge him and what he says. Because a lot of times when people don't want to talk to us, especially our husbands, they might feel like judgment is just right at the end of that conversation, or they won't be heard. That's another thing. They feel like they won't be heard as well. So offer an ear, let them know you don't judge them, and that you're going to hear them and not just run all over whatever they have to say. I'd start there. Absolutely.
Yes.
I lost our place.
So we still started with that one, the argument free, and it's argument free. No, that's good. Thank you guys for the questions, because seriously, that is actually a big deal, and we actually get that question a lot, because they're like, men are this way, and men are from Mars, women are from Venus. He said it. That can't even think off the top of my head who actually wrote the book, and I actually have the book at home. And but the thing is that it just the way we communicate is different. And but just being able to see our differences and appreciate those differences. And it'll take some time and it'll take some work, but you have to build the, we could say that, yeah, you should already have trust and everything like that, but you definitely, because of a lot of the baggage that come into it, a lot of us don't go through therapy or go through these other things that can help us when we get into marriages. Right. So we're coming with baggage, we're coming with different things that we may need to work through and work through ourselves as well as work through together. So yeah, so man, argument free. I'm sorry.
Just would you say then that, because quite a few people asked about, if their partner doesn't like to show vulnerability, how do we get them comfortable and safe enough to be vulnerable? Are you saying then that one of the components of that is a lack of judgment, so like a judgment space?
Yes, and we've been also conditioned to think that vulnerability is a weakness and it's a strength. So when you're in a society or in a world that says, well, don't be vulnerable, you get hurt, or you look like you're weak, that's something we have to unlearn, that it is a weakness, and it is indeed a strong attribute to be vulnerable with someone and you love them. I was taught by my aunt, she said, you know what? If you're going to talk to people that love your family. Don't talk to people that don't love your family, or talk to people that love your husband, not people that don't like him, because they're never going to have anything good to say. So when we tell the people that we love that they're vulnerable, being vulnerable is a strength, and we don't look at them as weak for coming to us or wanting to talk to us. And sometimes we find when we talk, you'll find some commonality, some of the same struggles that your husband might be going through emotionally, you might be going through as well, but we're more easily to say it, because women feel comfortable talking out things versus stuffing a lot down. The men seem to suppress a little bit more than we do. We still suppress things, but we're more open to discussion about hard topics. And sometimes our husbands, they just don't know where to start. They don't know what to say. And I was watching a show, and I can't remember what it was, but the man was saying, I wish we could tell our wives that we're scared too. And we're scared to say we're scared to them, And I was like, that's really sad that they want to say they're afraid and don't know what to say and do, but they don't feel like they're being heard, or they'll look as though they're weak if they say, well, I'm afraid too,
Another thing is keep your eyes open, because it may not come in the way that we think it should come. The vulnerability may not be exactly in the way that we may want to see what it is, or like them telling us. Just keep your eyes open, because it will be little things. It'll be things like, man, why you gotta go such and such? Why you gotta be here? Or, man, you gotta do this again. Or, man, you sleep when I get home, so da-da-da-da-da. And these things could be like, I want to spend more time with you. Like, it comes in different forms. Yeah. So keep your eyes open and your ears open to these different things and these different cues, instead of it being something that will create an argument. It'd be like, oh, wait a minute. Ooh, this is him being vulnerable.
It's a hint.
It's actually a hint of saying like, wait, okay, instead of it like, man, why are you harping on me about me going to the store, spending this time at, the mall or a certain thing like this? It's like, okay, I get it. Do you want to spend time with me? Type of thing like that, whatever. Or like, man, I'm so hungry, whatever. And, I will work. So it'd be like these different things. And it's like, sometimes I've heard like different women would say, I don't want to have to cook all the time. But then it's like, think about it. If he's talking about your food and like it's probably not because he just wants you to cook for him all the time. He really like your food. So, it's certain things that, we look at in different ways, and it's like, okay, then like, okay, well, just communicating about it, even if you don't want to do it all the time, like, hey, how about we, I love the fact that you love my cooking, but I need a break sometimes. So can we do this and that?
DoorDash.
But when it comes down to it, just look at it that way. But also when you hear those things, those little things, acknowledge it. You know what? It sounds as though you want to spend some time with me. How about we do this? Hey, it sounds like you like my cooking, but I get so tired sometimes. How about we do this? You know, kind of make those suggestions. Inshallah, that helps. So, yeah, argument-free. You want to stop the acceleration before it starts.
Yeah, focus on the now. Don't go back into, if you have a specific topic that you're talking about, don't go and tell your spouse. This can go for the men or the women. Well, that time 10 years ago when you said thus and so to me, and now you know, stay with what is happening in the now. It will really help, because when you're talking and you're going way back in the day or even 6 months ago, it's draining for the listener, because if it's not going to serve or solve a problem now, then you don't need to revisit it and relive it.
Indeed.
The next one is don't lash out or name call. I had a client, and you know, I have struggles with this, and her husband was from I think his family was like from the Macedonia, Turkish, Albania, in that area. He was Eastern European, yeah, something like that. And she was telling me, you know, I have an issue with that because I'm a convert, and those men will spit in your face if they're upset. And that I'm like, excuse moi, what? And she, you know, I'm an American, and you don't spit on me, I might hit you. But over here, it's like, it's a heinous thing to do, to spit into you. I don't know about the rest of the world. And she said, no, actually in that culture, it's practicing restraint. So it's not looked at as a heinous thing like you would look at as someone that's American. Fatimah. And I said, I get it. But I just was so amazed. But in that culture, that's the name calling, that's the lashing out, that's the practicing restraint. It like falls under that thing. So if my wife or my husband is from overseas and I'm not from that culture, my experience of that kind of lashing out could be completely traumatizing for me. So I said, we just don't need to lash out, and you know, we don't need to be spitting and hitting and name calling or hitting each other with our words, because sometimes you can hit somebody so hard with your mouth. That's why we're supposed to guard our tongue as well. So that's a big thing. And apologize when you have been wrong. And I love that my co-wife, Coach Nyla, said that, because we have to be strong enough to apologize when we're wrong. You know, even maybe we think someone shouldn't be hurt by what we said, but if they are, it's good to say, you know what, I didn't mean that for, you know, to come off that way. I'm so sorry I came off that way. That wasn't my intention. Or if it was something that you did and you know it is wrong of you to do, it is for you to apologize for what you did wrong. It's okay, because you can start over possibly. You know, and it says a lot about your character when you can apologize for wrongdoing that you have practiced against someone else.
Because there's a lot of times that we just jump on the defensive. And that's how you can stay argument free, if not being so defensive, where it's like, once again, listening to understand. It's not as easy, but that's that, even the stop and acceleration before it starts. I know me, the term getting heated is literal for me. Like when I get, when it's like, I literally feel like it's this heat inside.
It gets in your physiology.
I'm like, you know what? Breathe. And I tell myself, like, these are tips that I do for me. I say, breathe, breathe, breathe. I'm like, you know what? Let's do this later. That's pretty much like, boom, acceleration, stop it now.
Because no good will come from it.
Exactly. So if I can't hear you, you can't hear me, there's nothing we need to even discuss right now, because no one is being heard. All we're doing is wasting air.
We're
just wasting air. So you definitely want to be careful with that.
Absolutely. That's a big one.
So
time out. We're just looking at your comments, everyone.
All right. So alleviate drama. That's the other A. Alleviate drama. Drama happens. It's gonna happen. Period.
You should expect it.
It's gonna happen.
In many cases.
Like think about your garden. Let's talk about. Think about your garden. If you don't take care of that garden. Your weeds are going to grow. They don't need help. They're going to grow. So things are going to happen in life.
Yeah.
People say life happens. What they really mean is drama happens in life. You know, things are going to happen. It can be, you have trials. You get tested. What does it say? We know a lot of tests on who we love.
Our family got hit hard with massive tests.
A lot of tests. And the thing is and I love it because the sisters say it a lot, and we know, you know, our Islam grounds us without no question, without a doubt. I mean, we are speaking a lot of things, but it comes to the point that spirituality is the foundation. That's what grounds us. Our Islam is what grounds us. And then we move on these other things. This is the reason why we can do this, is because we're grounded in our deen. However, that's the part when it comes to that drama part, it's like, okay, how do I minimize that impact?
Yeah.
It's not about how do I stop it, because we can't. Right. You know, we can't stop it.
Yeah, it's
It'll
difficult.
happen. But it's how do I minimize the impact that it's going to have on me, on my relationship, you know, on my life. How do I do that?
Yeah, I had to learn something. And then the next point is to become a sober thinker versus a solo thinker. Solo thinking is when you're just talking about what is your experience and your focus is you. Sober thinking is when you take your clear head, your thoughts, your judgments, and you see someone else's side in a truthful way, not this irrational hypersensitivity that likes to creep in. You know, it's like changing that narrative in your head and go, okay, sober thinking is thinking with logic and taking a lot of the emotion out of it. So the story I was telling about our son visiting with his brothers, I had to think as a sober thinker and not a solo thinker, and not go, well, I want him here with me. Well, what if he ends up liking my co-wife more than me? I said, you know what? I'm glad you want to take him to see his brothers. They should have a change of atmosphere. He should go over there and play with their toys and have this, and maybe he can bond with anybody that can give more love or support to my children is welcome in their life, period. So for me, it was different. I was like, my son, my 8-year-old son, he's mildly autistic. So it's not so easy to explain to him why he can't or why he shouldn't or why he should do a thing. Whatever makes him comfortable is what I want to support in his life. That's that sober thinking. The solo thinker will go, well, he's my son and I want him here and they can come over here and it's all about what I need and me, all that. So that's important to alleviate drama. And, you know, when we're training, when we talk, there's a time for like play and there's a time to get very serious, and you will experience drama. We don't stay happy all the time in life. We go in and out of happiness, in and out of happiness. And in our community, in our own lives, we've been hit hard this month of August. But we also, as a family, as coaches, had to say, okay, Allah tests the ones that he loves. And we're elevated in ways that we have no idea the packaging it'll come in. You know, so that's that sober thinking. The solo one is like, why me?
And I like that the sober thinking person as well is, okay, what can I learn from this experience?
Yeah, what's the lesson?
You know, what's the lesson? Is there you know, it's, we learn from the lessons. Things happen in our life. What's the lesson you know, I learn from this? Instead of like you said, why me? You know, why not you? Maybe it's about, you know, maybe it's that time now. Maybe you need to be humbled. Maybe you need to learn something. Maybe it could be anything.
If you're not being tested, you should be afraid.
Indeed.
Very afraid.
Be afraid, be very afraid. Consistently connect. We talk about how people communicate. John C. Maxwell, one of our JCM, he has this book called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And that's the interesting thing, because we communicate all day long. Are we connecting? And how are we connecting? In our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, which is our monthly program, this month we're talking about bonding. So, you know, we train on that. We're training on actually this Sunday. So, we're talking about connecting and bonding and what that looks like.
And why it's important.
Exactly. Exactly. So one of the things, start a daily ritual. If you don't have a ritual, start one. And I'm talking about not just a ritual with yourself, a ritual with your spouse. You know, what is your ritual? Like, do you sit down? Like, do you both like coffee? You both like coffee? Do you sit down before one of you go to work or anything like that and, you know, have coffee together and just talk, or just sit in each other's presence and have coffee? Like, the energy that you guys will bounce off each other will be amazing. Do you work out? You know, y'all work out together. What type of ritual is that? You know, do you sit down and eat together and pray together? All those good things is starting a ritual, and you don't have to do so many. And just pick one thing and say, you know what, this is what we are going to do. This is how we are going to connect every single day.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're connecting, we have to be honest. So you have to be your authentic self. So we always say in our trainings, if you want best results, you have to have best daily practices. It's not, you know, we said this yesterday, you don't take a shower once and then say I'm good. You have to consistently take care of yourself. And that means mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, first and foremost. So be your authentic, honest, true self and say what you need, you know? So connecting means maybe, you know, when I was learning early on about polygyny, part of me learning about connecting, one of my first lessons was everything doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. And the sister was actually teaching me how to get through some certain things. And she was like, you know what? You might not like a red dress for a gift, but maybe your co-wife would like a red dress for a gift. It doesn't have to be the same thing. Understand the connection can change and be different because men compartmentalize things. There's a whole nother training, but I understood that the connection was different, you know, but it must be made. So understanding that our connections are different and our needs are different, and we should really be transparent and voice those at the proper time when we can.
Right. And then polygyny is easy. This is how easy it is. Mind your marriage. Mind your marriage. When it gets to the point where, you know, sometimes, you know, we compare instead of connect, you know, and like, okay, well, let's, you know, well, you did this, or I heard this, or such and such, or it's these different things, instead of saying, you know what, how do I want my marriage to look? What am I going to do to constantly connect and build this connection in my marriage? You know, it's a lot. We all have our different insecurities and different things that we may, you know, feel, and we can let run amok. And those things, when we let those things happen, unless you're tying in, it definitely breaks, you know, the foundation, and it breaks that connection. You know, it breaks the trust. It's a lot of different things where we are going to go into establishing trust.
Yeah, again, be transparent and respectful. Practice your vulnerability. And just because trust was broken before, I'm telling you, I've been through this myself personally, doesn't mean you can't regain trust. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not an easy process, but it's indeed a process. So if you want it, you can get it back. If someone else is the person that broke the trust says, you can trust me, we can start from this point. And if they want you to, if you want to, there'll be signs that you can trust them. Nobody will have to tell you. That's something that you feel. That's something that you see from them. Also, again, we talked about vulnerability being a strength and not a weakness. When you're concerned about something, say you're concerned about something, you know, don't hide that, because the worst thing we can do, I don't want to go through life and then I'm reaching a point where I'm going to pass on. And then I have this regret of saying, I wasn't really honest about how I felt about stuff. And I regret it. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube, look up 100-year-olds give advice about their regrets. And it is deep, because they're saying, I wish I'd had more fun. I wish I'd have worked less. I wish I'd have spent more time with my family. You know, all these different things. Again, I said to, you know, give yourself permission to trust again. And know that if you want to establish trust, that person is not there to fix you. You know, because a lot of people say, well, I know your husband needs to fix this. he's one man.
Yeah.
He can't fix a situation of trust alone.
Right.
You got to have two willing people to do so.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's that part where, and it's still, every time you're saying these things, it goes into that keep an open mind part.
Yeah.
It's like if you are constantly closed-minded, are you very guarded, especially, and we're human. This is the thing that we make mistakes. We make mistakes. We want people to understand that we make mistakes, but when another person make a mistake, it's like, you know, you had no right to do these things. And it's like, okay, we are going through life without a manual. It's like we don't have an instruction manual on this thing called life. However, we do have, you know, we do have examples. We do have, you know, the best example in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the thing is that we aren't perfect, you know, and as much as we want to try to emulate and, you know, be as great as, you know, the best before us, we still have to realize that there's some room for error, but we need to be able to say, you know what, I made a mistake. That's the apologizing part. That's that being vulnerable part of saying, you know what, I messed up.
That's part of honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
I messed up. Can we move forward? If you want to, and if you both want to, don't think about what everybody else is talking about, what everybody else want, you know, what, you know, those are the people, you don't let other people, the whole thing of minding your marriage. There are going to be people out there that has a lot to say. I mean, think about people who are parents who became parents. There was so much advice that people wanted to give you about how you're supposed to raise your kid or what you're supposed to do, not do, and everything like that. Exactly. However, you got to still find your happiness, your happy medium, what you want that to look like.
Your happiness is customizable, you know, and everybody doesn't have the same things that make them happy.
Exactly.
I have something, sisters, just to, you know, jump off the Mind Your Marriage, which I really, really like, mashallah. How do you think Mind Your Marriage works in a plural marriage? Is it the marriage, when you say mind your marriage, is that you and your spouse? Or is that the three, like the whole family? How does that work? Because somebody asked whether you're going to talk about communication in the setting of polygyny, but I'm really interested in how Mind Your Marriage works in plural marriage, and also obviously communication in that setting, inshallah.
Yeah, we got a question as well. We'll get, the way our chat works with outstanding personal relationships is that oftentimes we'll get specific questions for specific individuals. So Coach Nyla will get one, Coach Nadir will get one, I'll get one specific. They'll say Coach Nyla, Coach Nadir. They'll want to speak to us specifically. And my co-ef has heard this all before, but one day I got a question about how do I keep my mind off of what they're doing? And sometimes we have to change the narrative of what maybe somebody else is trying to give us. So I said, I don't worry about what they're doing. I'm worried about what I'm doing with him. So that's a different statement to that question, or a different answer to that question. So we've learned through personal development and many trainings we went through to what classes we need to sign up for and which ones we don't. So worrying about what Nadir is doing, to me, so much where you have this obsession about what your husband is doing is a form of worshiping that person. You've given him all this power that he did not ask you to give him. And if he asked you to give him that kind of power or that kind of obsession, then there's an issue with him, and then there's some narcissistic behavior there. So I tend to think of things in a different way and flip it on its head when being asked or being challenged with, well, how do you keep your mind off of him? I have 7 people to raise in my life. I've had 7 people to raise in my life. There are other things to focus on than what our husband is doing. And oftentimes you'll be thinking about him and he'll be somewhere with a brother. He won't even be with us. He'll be at Juma. He'll be at wherever. You know what I'm saying? So they'll directly come at us and say, well, what is this? And you'll go, I don't think of it that way.
Right.
I think of it differently.
I think, and another thing is that, and what we are talking about is not just for monogamy. It's not, you know, it does work, and this is also in polygyny as well. So, I mean, we'll talk about, also effective communication with your co-wife in a second. However, this still applies, because when we talk about minding your marriage, see, in plural marriage, what people tend to get twisted is that they make it seem as though that because it's one family, one big family, that everybody is married together to each other, and it's not. So the thing is, the minding your marriage part goes to that our husband is monogamously married to Coach Fatimah. He's monogamously married to me. So when it comes down to it, we make sure we communicate the way we communicate, they communicate the way they communicate. We don't communicate the same way, and nobody expects it to be that way. Coach Fatimah was a little more direct.
Yeah.
Than me.
But I've been hanging out with an INTJ for the past 25 years.
And they have a totally different relationship because they know each other since they were young teenagers.
I met him when he was 14.
Right. So it's these different things, and I'm not going to compare. Like we talk about not comparing these chapters, not comparing these things. So my thing is, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, how did she communicate with him? Let me try to see if I could do, because we don't have that same, we talked about before, we don't have that same connection.
And we're different people anyway, outside of our husband. We're just two different personality types. Anyway, I will always tell anyone that my co-wife is way more diplomatic than me and way more patient than me. And she'll go, I will move around somebody so quickly if I get this vibe, and she'll think, yeah, but why are they acting that way? And I'll be going, I don't know, they need to figure that out. I'm going home. I'm going home. But I get it. There has to be a level of maturity to go, okay, but why are they acting like that? She studied psychology way longer than I did, because I wasn't as interested in that, but I get the value in studying it. But we're still different people with different reactions and different experiences of our husband.
It's still effective. The way she communicates with him is effective for her and him.
And if I acted like her, he'd be like, why are you acting like that?
And if I did the same thing, he'd be like, why are you He'd be like, hold on. So it's these different things where it's like, when we talk about that, we're like, seriously, it's minding your marriage. And
okay, mind your business.
Mind your business. And the thing is that, we have had people say, you know what, well, it does intertwine and everything like that. Okay, it's just certain things that do intertwine where you have different feelings and emotions. And we are one big family. We meet for family meetings. Not only do we meet for family meetings, we actually, the three of us meet on how we are going to do things as a family. So we do those things too. So how does that work as well? It works very well because we worked on it. Because we didn't do that at the beginning. We didn't have that part. We had to grow to this point.
It took years.
Yeah, it took years.
And people think it took months or something. No,
and it took being vulnerable.
Years.
It took Coach Fatimah being vulnerable to say, this is how I'm feeling about this situation. And this is what I want out of the situation. It took me being vulnerable, saying, this is what I want out of the situation. This is how I feel about the situation. And it took us to be able to listen to what he had to say and how he felt about the situation. And to say, you know what, we all have different ways of it. And it was like, the common denominator is that we're all human. We all have our feelings. We all have our vulnerabilities. And the other common denominator is we want to win.
And we all tied.
Yeah, and we want to win.
Everybody's
like, we wanted to win as a family. The main thing was that this is what we want to do. We want to win. How do we do this?
And then we have children. So I always like to say polygyny doesn't just happen to each grown up in it. The children get lost in this thing a lot of times. So it's happening. I have daughters that are adults, 18 and over. So their experience for their dad, they were somewhere at a store and the cashier said, are these your nieces? He had the Ford group. And then my second oldest goes, why we gotta be his nieces? And I'm like, oh Lord. So that jealousy for their father kicked in. He didn't even know what was going on. He was completely oblivious that this cashier thought it was cute, honey. And our daughter didn't think it was cute that the cashier thought it was cute. Now, mind you, he had 2 wives at the time, but our daughter was not here for it. That's that natural jealousy that happened. And so polygyny and people, kind of trying to flirt with their dad. You don't flirt with my father now. Wait a minute. So we're moving on. Oh
So this is the thing that
There
we're
it
talking about.
is.
Effective communication to connect and bond with your co-wife. And as I stated before, we are going to really dig deep into this topic as far as bonding, especially, you know, whether it's monogamy or polygyny, but definitely, especially polygyny, because, you know,
It's a tough subject.
It's a subject that is not being given the attention that it needs. And, you know, you can get books anywhere and everywhere on how to connect and bond, you know, in your marriage. But when it comes to co-wife bonding
That
and
word,
polygyny, you know,
word is scary.
how to work that out
Mhm.
is, you know, few and far between. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so, well, we're going to dig deep on that Sunday in our RMIC, our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle.
Mhm.
But one of the things is releasing these preconceived ideas and thoughts and possible insecurities,
Yeah.
because we may have this idea or this feeling like, okay, well, this is where they, for example, I think my co-wife, she has so much stuff going on. I'm like, I'm gonna learn this, I'm gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna be my sister, all this other stuff.
My brain wouldn't set up.
However, after like marriage and everything like that, it got to the point where the realness kicked in about they known each other for since they were 14.
30 years.
They got these different, these kids together. It's these different things that these insecurities that come up like, well, you know what? She had his first child, his first son, they got daughters, all these different things that people don't understand because they, in polygyny, a lot of times they do focus on the first wife. And I'm speaking from a subsequent wife.
There's a lot of celebrity in there.
Yeah. And, but not understanding that there are insecurities and there's different preconceived ideas and thoughts that a subsequent wife or a wife coming in can feel too. But they don't say or communicate because the outside is saying, you don't have those type of feelings. You can't have those feelings because you knew what you signed
or
up
you
for.
Don't belong here.
Or
that whole you don't belong here.
Right.
Happens.
So it gets to the point where you say, you know what? Then you start feeling like, well, where do I fit in this? Okay, I don't. Who do I talk to? Because everybody's saying that I shouldn't have these type of feelings, or I shouldn't feel this type of way. So it's these different things where it's like, okay, I have to figure out, for one, like the mind in the marriage. That thing, and then to say, you know what, I know what I want. I want a big family. When I say big family, I mean we're gonna be one big family. We're gonna be a family, not just co-wife over here, co-wife over there. And it's like, okay, if this is what I want, how do I communicate this? Got to get out. It's not the most easiest thing to say. Let me be vulnerable and reach out to this woman to say, hey, I want to establish a relationship with you. I want us to be, able to communicate. I want us to be able to talk, because when it all comes down to it, a family is a family. And when things happen in a family, ups, downs, highs, lows, whatever, you want to be able to share those things with the people that you love. And that was one of the main things with me when it came to establishing a relationship and to wanting to connect with my co-wife, because I'm like, there are kids involved. I want to learn something. She's been in Islam for like way longer than me, all these different things. She knows him better than I would ever know him. So it might be some stuff that I'd be like, what the heck is going on? And I might need some assistance.
And then it's like another day at the office for me.
Right, exactly. So it's these different things where that was the mindset, and a lot of times it starts with that mindset, and it's releasing these expectations these different things. It's like not having these expectations, except for, I guess I can't say no expectations, but not having unrealistic expectations. One of the expectations to have is saying, you know what, I expect to learn something from this. I'm expecting to learn something from her. I'm expecting to, even if it's just to see where she is at the situation, or how she felt about the situation, or anything like that. And can we move forward in growing as a team? And it's not going to always be cut and dry, hunky-dory, sunshine and rainbows, but can we, if we need to take a break from that, because you're not going to force it, can we take a break and come back?
Not force it.
Can we come back? Can we at least say, hey, can we just leave it open that, you know, whenever, you know,
Yeah.
you feel you feel
Like you want to talk.
you want to talk, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, because you know, with polygyny, oftentimes initial wife will think that the subsequent wife is an accessory for her husband. You know, like this has nothing to do with me. That's something for him. That's a family for him. I need to stay out of that because society, Islamic society, sometimes, depending on where you are, can dictate, oh, you guys are natural born enemies, or the world will dictate you are natural born enemies. It depends who the leadership is in your community. Some people here where we are won't even perform a polygynous marriage.
Right.
They're scared of the blowback or the backlash to being a part of it. It's almost like it's looked at as some type of satanic ritual, and the fear and the, oh, I can't marry you, you know, it becomes this really horrible thing. But then that's the narrative left in the community in which we're in. I can speak about this community. I've not traveled overseas. I've been as deep as Mexico. That's it. But I know everybody's experience is not the same, and we are reverts to Islam. So there's no auntie, there's no my mother-in-law she's no joke. Like, she's not interested in Islam at all, you know? So I don't go talk to her about polygyny because I already know how she feels about it. So I don't need to guess. So another thing with connecting with your co-wife is giving yourself permission to, and don't care about what somebody else thinks about what your communication is. So I don't go around this town and ask people, what do you think about me talking to my co-wife? They're gonna go, Fatimah, you never asked me about permission to do anything else. Why are you asking me permission to get to know another Muslima? Now, if we take away the fact, I remember when we first started talking, or when I first started talking to her, because she was always willing and gracious to do so. I didn't have anything to say because, again, my thinking is this wife is for him. You know, I'm for me. So I just said, when we do talk, I don't want our focus to be Nadir, because to me, that's giving him too much power. And he does not want to be the focus of our universe. He's never wanted to be the focus of my universe, because there's other roles to have. There's other roles to have. There's husband, father, son, brother. And he was invested hardcore in all those relationships that he had. He's the oldest of 6 children. So that's a big, and you know that because my co-wife is the oldest of 9 children. There's a lot of pressure on the oldest child. So he had other stuff to do than focus on my world, you know? So that's a big thing. Don't focus on the judgment of others and what people think of you if you talk to your co-wife, because you will find you start talking to your co-wife and you start chumming around and going to stores and stuff, you will find that some people will walk out of your life. We have been uninvited to iftar because our husband married again. The iftars we were invited to 12 years ago, 11 years ago, 10 years ago, we have never been to in 10 years because the polygyny bug might just rub off or jump onto their husband. And that is the truth of the matter.
That's one of the things we say, what do you think about us is none of our business. That's kind of the long and and the short of it. It's like, because you're gonna always, you know, you're gonna have your thoughts. It is what it is. So whatever you think about us is none of our business.
We don't hold our breath on it.
Right. We're gonna still do what we're gonna do, and you know what we do is. What we do is within the folds of Islam, and that's all I care about. You know, we are on that. We've always been on that, where it's like, look, you know, if Allah don't have a problem with it, I could care less about what you think about it. And not to be mean, but to really keep my sanity. Because I'm a type of person that I feed energy. I'm like, I feel the energy, I can feel the negativity, and then I start to absorb that. And then I will start thinking twice about myself. And then my self-esteem tanked thinking about what other people thought about me. And I'm like, I know I'm a good person. I know I'm happy. I know I'm this thing. Why? I mean, I'm this type of person, but what? And then it got to the point where I say, you know what? I got to stop focusing on what other people think and focus on what I need to do for me. And those are the different things where, we talked about that on a number of occasions where it's like, some of these people won't even come to your funeral. Some people, and then some of these people won't cry for you. They won't do a lot of this stuff, but you too busy worried about what they thinking about you. Come on, let's get it together. So yeah, definitely those are, the different
don't think
things.
your co-wife has it so easy and you have it so rough. You don't know. Don't assume. Oh, the next steps.
So yes, our next steps for you guys. So we talk about a number of different things in our 5 keys to fulfilling marriage checklist. And you get that for free by signing up at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. And our relationship mastery inner circle. So everybody who's part of the salon, who's part of this this program, they actually get a discount on our relationship mastery inner circle. And we talked about it throughout the training because this Sunday, tomorrow, wow, just thought about that. We are going to be training on bonding, and we're going to go deeper into what that looks like and how to do that. And the 3 of us will be training. And we have our own individual trainings, how we do this. And it's amazing how we reach out to our RMIC members, our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle members. So definitely you get a nice discount, chunky chunk. And you can go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM. Your discount code for the next 7 days is Salon. So, kind of easy to remember. So those are pretty much, that's the long and the short of it. But yeah, for everybody who attended this virtual salon, that's the link that you guys have and the discount code. And you want to connect with us, definitely connect with us on our IG at Outstanding Relationships. Our YouTube, Outstanding Personal Relationships, and same thing for Facebook. And we have seriously over 100 hours of video and trainings on our YouTube channel alone that talks about my co-wife and I, our first impressions of each other,
why you married a married man,
why I married a married man,
great.
And, all these different things, and how she did a great one about meeting my family for the first time,
birthday.
or whatever, my birthday. So many things, but we also talk about communication. We talk about trauma. We talk about dealing with, crisis, all of that other good stuff, insecurities. So yeah, I mean, it's so much. And then if you have any questions, definitely email us at support@outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. I did see some comments or possibly some questions in the chat.
Not to cut my co-wife off, but you guys, it looks weird on camera. But you'll see me patting my chest. I'm wearing a heart monitor, so I'm making sure it's still there because it likes to slip down. So you see me doing this, that's what I'm checking for.
We didn't even see you, sis.
So I'm like,
until
I
you
can see
said
myself in the viewfinder, so I'm like doing this. Okay. I'm like, what am I doing?
Couple questions. Of course, you get this question a lot.
Snap.
So whatever, the permission thing, that is just.
Oh, I missed it. Where is she?
Right there. Wait, let me see. Hold on.
Okay. Sister, do you know what I'm thinking? Because it's 5:30.
Right. I see it now.
At 6. I think that if we want to dig deep on polygyny and the ins and the outs and the relationship and the permission and all of that stuff, I really think it deserves its own virtual salon personally. What do you guys think?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that we should. It deserves its own in-depth conversation.
It's big, sis. It's a vast subject.
Yes, it is.
We're not going to get it all here.
Don't worry, we're going to bring the brothers and the sisters for that one, and we'll have a panel, and we will address that, inshallah, guys. So I am literally taking notes as we speak because I'm planning the sessions for the next 6 weeks. So that is down now, inshallah. So not to worry, ladies, you will get your questions answered, inshallah. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Does anybody have any questions related to the effective communication aspect before we close up? Because it was just a really, really straightforward, clear look at how to communicate more effectively. So I'm not sure whether anyone has any questions. I know they all like, no. You'll have to wait for that. But inshallah, ladies, it's been amazing having you. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you so much. And may Allah continue to bless your family and the work that you're doing. Guys, we will put all these details, these contact details in the Facebook and email it out to you as well, inshallah. Follow them, share their work, get in touch with them if you want to work with them more closely, join their programs. This is some of the just amazing, wealth of experience and wisdom that we have at our fingertips in the community. So alhamdulillah, let's make the most of it. Nobody has to suffer alone, because where we are now, everybody has, I just feel like anything that sister or brother is going through, now we have people who are ready and willing to help you. So don't suffer in silence. Don't, sit there thinking you're the only one going through what you're going through. Reach out and get help, inshallah, okay?
Inshallah.
And make sure you guys are always practicing GLC. Make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting at a higher level every single day.
I love that, mashallah. So ladies, we're going to wrap up now, inshallah. Please get your little break, get some water, get some tea, get some coffee. Village auntie will be here in half an hour, inshallah. Ladies, if I can if you can make me the host again so that I can close out the video, inshallah, that will be good.
All righty.
Fantastic. Okay, see, then I can stop the recording. And Jazakallah khairan, thank you so much to you, sisters, to your family for their support, to all the VIPs and patrons, we love you, and everybody else who is here, who bought tickets, we love you as well. May Allah reward you all. We'll see you guys at 6, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So good.